In this film, we're going to talk a little bit about what to do if your child gets frustrated or cross or upset because they can't have the things from the bucket in stage 1 of the Attention Autism Programme. Maybe they haven't done the programme with you at home before, and that sometimes children can think the rules are different at home, and often the rules are different about a lot of things at home, and that's just the way it should be. Or maybe they've never done the programme before and you're just starting it. It helps to understand why we're going to hold that boundary or that rule. It's because we want the children to be able to focus their attention on what the leading adult is doing, so that we can teach them new things. And sometimes if we give a child something that they want, something like this fabulous wind-up robot, if we give it to them, then they're completely engaged in the robot, and what we're saying or doing or trying to share with them is not really a part of the child's thinking or processing. So what we're doing with this strategy is teaching the child how to focus their attention for the adult-led agenda. That sounds really complicated, but actually what it means is that the child is learning things from us. So we're teaching them to watch and to think about the information we're giving them before they can use it themselves in their own lives and in their own activities. And we teach it to them by showing them that you can focus and engage your attention, you can relax and enjoy watching things. And it helps if you have a think about what else in the child's day, what can your child do at other times where they haven't actually got their hands on things and are not touching things. Maybe watching the television. That's great, that means that we know they can do this. We've just got to use that skill and stick it to another part of the day. And maybe you could stretch those moments a little bit by, if you're about to give your child something, just hold it just for a moment and tell them what it is. You know, it's milk, and then you give it to the child. So there's just a little moment where they want something and they engage with you before they get it. We're not forcing that into a great long frustration, but just a fraction of a second. That would really help. And when you set up your session with your bucket or whatever container you're using, you want the child to be seated about 1.5 meters away from you. Sometimes we think getting closer will make it easier, but actually getting closer means that the bucket is also closer to the child. If the bucket is here and I'm sitting here and the child is 1.5 meters away, it's very obvious that the bucket is mine because it's in my personal space. If the child is sitting closer and the bucket is here, it looks kind of as if it's something to share because it's between them and me, and the child's very close to it. So it's confusing. So sit the child a little bit further away and maybe sit them on your partner's lap, or it doesn't really matter if they're not sitting, but it does help. You've got another supporting adult who could perhaps just help them to stay a little bit and to field them just a bit if they're getting very interested and active. Sitting on your lap, as I said, or maybe just having a bit of a cuddle into you to give them support. In the end, what we want is for them to sit there proudly on their own, looking and enjoying what you're doing. But in the early stages, it can be a bit tricky, and you've got to be quick. So you take something out, you show it, put it back, take out something else, show it, put it back, take out something else, show it, put it back, put the lid on, put the bucket right away, out of sight, out of reach, and let your child move on to do something else. Perhaps something, a nice distraction, okay? Not necessarily a reward, just a distraction. And you have got to practice. And be quick, practice little and often, and usually 5 to 10 goes at doing a bucket will be enough. So have a go. The first few times might be tough, but it is a wonderful thing if your child can learn this strategy. There is so much in the world that we can show them and teach them about. Thank you.